Right, so today we're looking at part 5 of Big Ed and Liz on 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After Season 7. So previously, Big Ed and Liz have been having a tough time. First, they had a big fight over how Ed was behaving towards a model during a photo shoot that Liz went along to. And the day after, Ed admitted to his friends that he and Liz don't know how to have healthy disagreements in their relationship. Then, things took an even darker turn when Liz confessed to her friend Alex that Big Ed has been pressuring her to lose weight recently with manipulative and insulting hints. Despite all their troubles though, the pair ended a tumultuous couple of weeks with a fun, light-hearted date night where for once they went home happy at the end of it. Today, however, Big Ed is being plunged right back in at the deep end, and for someone who struggles to tread water in the shallow end at the best of times, it's going to get messy. With the engagement party just days away, their friends and family are making their way into town. But before everyone gets together, Liz wants to take Big Ed to meet up with her grandparents, who she considers to be her closest family, for a nice little fishing trip.
My relationship with my parents isn't as tight as it is with my grandparents. My grandmother had me since I was a baby. I just consider my grandparents my parents.
So apparently, Liz's biological father was never in her life, and her mum was focused on looking after her brother who had a disability, which is why Liz was raised by her grandparents instead. Big Ed has actually met her grandparents once before this, on their 50th wedding anniversary, but given the way his relationship with Liz was going at the time, they were very skeptical of Ed, and they had some pretty strong doubts as to whether he was the right man for their granddaughter.
People judge knowing that I've been divorced twice, and there is more pressure that this can be my third marriage. So it is very important for me to show my grandparents that I am happy and I have a good partner. And I need to make sure they see a huge difference than what they saw before.
You'd think with all of the pressure on making sure that her next marriage is her last, that she wouldn't be rushing into it like this. Forget convincing her friends and family that Big Ed is the right guy for her. From what we've seen and heard so far, I'm not sure she's even convinced of it herself. She must have some sort of conviction to it though, because other than Riley's dad, who her grandparents knew because he and Liz were high school sweethearts, Liz has never introduced a partner to them before.
You didn't even introduce your last husband to them, yeah. So that makes me feel special, you know.
Like, this was very serious for me.
Yeah. Your grandpa told me this. He said, don't try to buy her. And then your grandma said, treat her right or I'll come after you with a baseball bat.
If she said that, why has she not come after him already? Did she not consider the 8 dumpings, the abusive phone call, and everything else that's happened so far him not treating her right? I also find it funny how they said don't try and buy her love, and then he went out and bought her an expensive engagement ring, flexed on TV in front of her exactly how much he paid for it, and then went and bought her a car and flexed about that too.
Just because I'm stubborn, I don't need anyone's permission to be with who I want to be, but...
Don't you need my permission to be with me?
You put a ring on my finger.
Okay, you're right.
Do my ears deceive me, or has Ed, for the first time ever, just indicated that he understands the idea of mutual consent? In the most rock-bottom expectation way possible, I kind of feel proud. I bet this is what a prison therapist feels like when their worst offender goes one day without taking advantage of any shower time soap dropping. Anyway, despite all of Liz's attempts to make it very clear just how important it is that Ed makes a good impression on them this time around, he goes on to say this.
Hey, Grandma, how are you? How are you, sweetheart?
How's it going?
Good.
So
what have you guys been up to?
I know one thing they got
What
up
kind
to.
of mischief?
Hey, we've been making love. I'm just kidding.
What would possess you to say such a thing to your partner's grandparents? As if they've driven 16 hours just to hear that their granddaughter is getting frequently humped by Humpty Dumpty. Honestly, were it not for the anatomical impossibility of it, I bet Liz would have strangled him for saying that. I'm praying that this was harshly edited to make it seem like it went down worse than it did, but it was still so painfully awkward to watch.
She talks about you guys all the time. She said that, you better take care of me or Grandma's going to come after you with a baseball bat.
I raised you to be a warrior, so be careful.
It's kind of sad that she says this, but Liz is out here settling for Big Ed and fighting for a relationship that's demonstrably no good for her. Raising someone to be a warrior isn't just about teaching them to fight, it's also about teaching them to fight for things worth fighting for. And I'm just really not sure how Big Ed is. Liz's grandma might be okay with Ed for now, but she still definitely has her concerns.
But, oh boy, they had a rough time from the beginning. And then I was surprised that she had a ring on her finger.
Yeah, that was a total shock to us.
Yeah, she just got out of one bad relationship, and now he's pushing her and pushing her. That's not good. I'm overly protective of her more than anybody.
I wonder if that's knowledge she's gained from Liz, or if she's watched them together on 90 Day Fiancé, because it sounds like she's referencing all those episodes where Ed was jumping from wanting to date Liz to wanting them to sleep together, to making it official, to them moving in together, and to them getting engaged. Also, Liz's grandma says that she's more protective of her than anyone else, but the person who seems to be holding Ed accountable the most is actually the grandfather.
Are you marrying her because you really, 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 really love her? Or is it because she makes you feel young?
I'm marrying her because I really, really love her. I can't live without her.
Are you positive about that?
I am. I
heard that remark once before.
Yeah, you tell him, Grandpa. I am here for this energy. I just love it when Ed gets a grilling, and this isn't even them giving him one for no reason either. He's just about to get engaged to their granddaughter, who he's treated horrendously up until this point. They have every right to make him work hard to prove their doubts wrong, especially when Ed's answers reek of insincerity like this.
She's my forever, you know,
Okay.
and I mean, she is a pain in the butt, so am I. But she's who I want to be with, and she does make me feel young, but that's not why I'm marrying her. I'm going to love her and take care of her for the rest of her life.
Don't hurt her.
Yeah, I don't really see how saying don't hurt her is going to scare him, given they did absolutely nothing the first 8 or more times he hurt her. But I kind of get the point. Everything he says is just so transparent though. All these lines like she's a pain in the butt but I love her and she's my forever are so cheesy and cliche. And the sincerity tactics like taking off his sunglasses and putting his arm on her just make it unbearable. Thankfully though, this is where the serious chats end, and for the rest of the fishing trip, Liz's granddad just constantly roasts Ed for being short.
I like your hair, by the way.
She cut hers, which was up to her waist. I said, you cut your hair, I'm making mine long.
Oh, nice.
So she's short and I'm long. It kind of works now. She's short,
My
I'm tall.
mouth, my eyes.
Yeah.
Kind of like you. Tall, short.
He roasts him like this loads, and I actually wonder if it's his way of testing Ed a little bit. Like, the whole conversation up until this point has been filled with at least partly fake positivity. So maybe he's just trying to see how Big Ed reacts to negativity. Maybe he can see what he's truly like if Ed takes himself too seriously, and he can get him a little bit annoyed and frustrated.
Get on your knee. No. You're on your knees already? Oh, okay. No wonder I see over your head. Who's talking?
That is where Liz gets it.
If Liz roasts him like this a lot, I want to see more of it. The producers better not be cutting it out thinking it's not what we want to see, because it definitely is. Also, I wonder if him roasting Ed like this is his way of taking his frustration out on him. Like, given Ed hurt his granddaughter, maybe this is his way of getting revenge on him. Kind of like the same way Liz did by making the net comment during the photo shoot.
Did you have fun, babe?
I did.
We didn't catch anything.
Didn't catch anything.
I'll get that pelican on you. He'll think you're bait because you're so little.
Dang it, no more short jokes.
This guy cracks me up. I hope if things go bad and it all kicks off that they invite this guy to the tell-all to give Big Ed a big roasting. Well, after the fishing trip, Big Ed goes off to buy some items for the engagement party and get a few things ready, which allows Liz to finally have some one-on-one time with her grandparents.
Since Ed and I got back together, we do everything together. So it would be nice just because then I feel like I have some time to talk. I can have a conversation. Ed kind of likes to take over most conversations.
Yeah, and when he does, he always tries to make it seem like everything is great. Liz didn't really say anything during the fishing trip, that we saw at least, because Ed spent the entire time talking, trying to convince her grandparents that everything was perfect. So maybe now is the opportunity for a bit of real talk for once. First, Liz says that there are some surprises in store for the engagement party, but when she says don't worry, the surprise isn't that this is actually a wedding, her grandma jumps at the opportunity to make her feelings very clear.
They're faking us out.
Surprise, it's not our engagement party.
Oh, I'll stop it. I'll stop it. I go, no, they can't get married tonight. Why not? I'm not ready. 5 years from now, I'm not ready.
This is kind of awkward for Liz because despite the fact that she said it in kind of a joking way, she can definitely tell that her grandma is being dead serious here. She is just not convinced about Ed at all yet, and she definitely didn't mean it in an I'm not ready for my little girl to get married yet kind of way, because she already has done twice.
I can say that I'm happy. The way that I speak about him, you'd never catch me speaking about him this way before.
They need a little more time to get used to each other.
Yeah.
Ed's been single for I don't know how long. No, I think it'll work out as long as they pay attention to each other.
I actually love how much disdain this man has for Ed. He has real contempt for him right to his core, doesn't he? Also, it doesn't matter how much Liz says that she's happy. If she clearly isn't, they're just empty words. I mean, she says that she'd never have spoken about him the way she speaks about him now. But even over just the last few episodes, she's talked about him speaking over her, not allowing her to have time for herself, and not caring about or thinking about her feelings. This might be the best Big Ed's ever been, but it's still way below what you'd want for your granddaughter.
This is a very important question. Your age different. Him being that much older than you, are you willing to take care of him when he's not able to?
Now, this is a good question. They might be at similar stages in life now because they're able-bodied and able to go out and drink and travel. But the age gap is 30 years. That might not be the case anymore when she's in her 50s and he's in his 80s. There may very well come a time when she wants to do all of those things, but he's too old or unwell or unfit to do so.
It's already crossed my mind multiple times. Not so much as like taking care of him, but so much as like I'm scared to lose him because he's older. Yeah, I would take care of him.
Okay, because people get hurt, they get sick, and all that good stuff.
I appreciate she's considered losing him, but it doesn't sound like she's given the caring for him when he's old part much thought. It's not really a convincing answer to the question because it doesn't sound like she's fully appreciating how much she might have to sacrifice if it happens. I know that any couple, regardless of their ages, could be tragically plunged into this kind of scenario at any moment, but their age difference really does make this a big risk for her.
Ed is definitely a kid, younger at heart than me, but the truth is he is almost 30 years older than me. And the one thing that scares me the most about my age difference with Ed is just that he can be taken away from me.
Liz goes on to say that she sometimes thinks too much about Ed being taken away from her early due to his age, and that it makes her doubt sometimes whether she wants to remain in the relationship. But she says that ultimately, remembering what it felt like to not have him there when they broke up, keeps her in it. I actually googled out of curiosity whether people with Klippel-Feil syndrome, which is the condition Ed has, have shorter life expectancies because of it. And apparently, in less than 30% of cases, individuals with Klippel-Feil syndrome will present with heart defects, which shortens life expectancy to an average of 35 to 45 years old among males. I don't believe Ed has ever publicly spoken in any more detail about the severity of his condition, but I wonder if this is part of the reason that Liz is so scared of losing him, especially given he's 56 years old now. Well, after discussing the age gap issues, Liz's grandma then brings up the compatibility issues.
Ed has a temper, and I can have a temper. There's been arguments where temperaments have not been healthy. I have to remember that him being single for so long, it's always just been about him. So we'd break up because it was his way or no way, and that wasn't gonna work for me after my last marriage.
It's weird, she's kind of flipping between saying good things about Ed, trying to win them over, and almost venting to them about her problems with him. You can tell that she needs to talk to someone about all of this and that she has a lot on her chest, but she can't really do that right now, and wanting to gain their approval is definitely holding her back.
It still scares me that Ed will one day hurt me again. It scares me that one day he'll find a way to like ruin something good, but I have to not worry about that. I have to trust that he's made the changes that he has made. If it does happen again, that's it. And I don't want to be a disappointment to Riley.
This is a big thing you guys leave comments talking about all the time. Like, with everything he's put her through, what kind of example is she setting for Riley about what's okay in a relationship and what isn't? But at the same time, it's not as if leaving an abusive relationship is as easy as picking up your keys and walking out of the door, either physically or emotionally. She goes on to say that she's worried about her third marriage ending in divorce, but says that she's adamant that if Big Ed wanted to take another break, that she wouldn't give him another chance. But that's just even weirder to me. Like, why would you plan on marrying someone who's essentially on their last strike, whilst the relationship balances on a knife's edge?
Well, I know you've done him a lot of good, and I know he's done you a lot of good. That's why I hope you two can make it.
Yeah.
For Liz's sake, I hope so too, but with the way things are going, I just can't see the marriage happening and them living happily ever after. It's actually so depressing that during what's supposed to be such a positive time, rather than talking to her family about how excited she is, she sat there looking exhausted, tirelessly trying to get them to approve of her fiancé, all the while crying over their many relationship issues. Well, maybe he won't be her fiancé for much longer, because next up is the engagement party, where Ed is going to interrogate Liz on her dating history and accuse her of dating a woman and hiding it from him. So if you want to see Big Ed being the anchor to his own ship of happiness once again, keep up with the rest of the saga and see more videos just like this one, please feel free to subscribe down below so you can catch the next videos as soon as they're out. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.